Hello and welcome to the Seahawkers podcast, post-game reaction or post-show reaction, whatever you want to refer to it as. We listen and watch the latest episode of Hard Knocks. Number 4, we've only got one more left, boys. I'm joined by a couple of my good buddies. We've got Adam Emmert, and of course, we've got the infamous Clinton Bonner.
Yes. Hey, boys. Boys, I'm not crying. You're crying because I don't know about you, but that was tough in a lot of different places, Adam. I didn't like it. I still don't like a lot of it. There's lots of good in there we're going to uncover, but the emotional gut punch, I think a trifecta 3 times over, it got me, Adam. How about you?
Hey, I hear you. I try to pretend to be dead on the inside as much as possible, but even Brittany, who was only like a quarter paying attention to this, like when Mike was starting to talk about OJ Brigance and started to get choked up, she wasn't even looking at the screen, and like she's getting choked up, and I'm like, I'm not crying. The Bobo stuff, obviously sad, but I mean, honestly, the Bud Clark stuff, like that. Whoo!
Yeah, why did they have to spend so much time on Bud Clark?
And his adorable family and beautiful child, right? So
had his child on the phone as he's getting his air cast put on, or his actual cast put on, and why do they got to do that to us?
I tell you what, I was like, are we really keeping the fam on the phone for? Oh, we are. Oh God. Oh, all right. And look, I mean, shout out to Bud. I mean, what a tough son of a bitch. I mean, that was. I mean, even just immediately after the injury, when the trainer's talking to him, and you can see him flip the switch mentally from like, I'm hurt and this sucks to, hey, we're gravy, buddy. We're gravy. What are we doing? Yeah, sure. And that kind of mentality, that warrior mentality that Bud Clark presented in one of the lowest moments that he could. And then not only that, but then to have it captured in a way that most injuries are never captured, right? With Hard Knocks being there and the detail and all of that. Really showed to his character, his strength of character, and I was really impressed with him while heartbreaking at the same time.
Yeah, I appreciated the strength of character bit, but I think for me emotionally, I don't think I needed that entire arc. Just maybe I did. I don't know.
Yeah, HBO, they know what they're doing, right? They know how to pull them strings. And unfortunately for our Seahawks, we got to relive that. It sucked when it happened as news, and it was even more emotional seeing this time. And they set it up with them playing with this kid in the beginning, and the kid's absolutely freaking adorable. And
you could see it coming too, because they had with the cold open with Jake Bobo and the wide receivers coach. They were setting up that one, and then him playing with this kid. And the only part we didn't get was Mason Richmond. Like apparently they knew that we could only handle so many injuries and death moments that they cut out the Mason Richmond bit entirely.
Yeah.
Like true media, they just skipped over offensive line. Like,
it's true.
Know?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel bad for Mason Richmond.
Good point. You did bring it back to the top. I do feel bad for Mason Richmond too, for many reasons, but you brought it back to the top. And the cold open Frisman, you mentioned Frisman last time being kind of the standout assistant coach that you really liked, Brandon. That seemed like a pretty real conversation. And I didn't even know that. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention that Bobo had a bit of a hammy and was a little bit just not full juice, as they were kind of saying. And then they create that nice little arc. They're like, oh, he's getting it back. Let's go watch how Bobo gets his groove back type thing. What'd you think about that conversation with Frisman? Did that add fuel to the fire that you really like him as an assistant, Brandon?
Oh, he just seems like a real coach. Like he's not trying to blow smoke. He's just trying to get the most out of a guy. And I thought it was interesting more in Bobo's response that where he was saying that he knows his game. Like he knows he's not going to be anything more than wide receiver 4. And just that conversation of, but you're like the Draymond Green, you're like the enforcer, so some basketball talk in there for you too, Adam.
Yeah, actually on my notes, top of the sheet, Bobo equals Rodman. And love that comp. It stinks to lose your Rodman of the wide receiver core. And it's an interesting conversation because I feel like it's something as like kind of team wide that was kind of focused on throughout this episode of like finding that edge again. And that has to be hard after winning a championship. We all take it for granted as fans because we all want the next one as bad as about anybody, right? But I think that would be difficult, and it seems to be something that the entire team, Mike and everybody's focused on.
And not to skip to the end, but they conclude that story in this episode 4 with the way that Mike talks to the team after the Titans game. It was like, hey, that was a big step forward. Dudes are banged up. They're out for the year. That completely sucks. And Mike's like, hey, you could see that we got a bit of our edge back, because the segment that came right after the Bobo cold open was kind of that Mike Morris leadership meeting, where they're all like, I was trying to peek as quickly as possible, like who's in that room. I was like, which dudes are actually there? And I'd like to go back and pause it and be like, which ones are there, which ones aren't. But that leadership meeting, Adam, like you're saying, it's all about, I think they use the word identity again, and it's, for us, I think we take it for granted that, oh yeah, I mean, you're a Super Bowl champion, you're getting paid millions of dollars. And why wouldn't it be simple just to stay at that mentality, that level, because you're a professional, this is what you do. But it's cool to kind of see that even in a world-class organization that's really well run, Brandon, that things can chip away at that edge. And Mike is just doing seemingly everything. He's not grasping at straws. He's just so consistent. And then they show the assistant coaches really backing up, kind of in their own way, but backing up his message.
Yeah, we're trying to maintain a world-class organization with the Seahawks. We're trying to maintain a world-class podcast, and we're doing it with a world-class live executive producer and Ryan911 coming in with a $9.99 super chat. Brutal watching Bobo and Bud going down. Another great episode. Go Hawks. And I wanted to go back to the leadership council part was interesting. The what Brent is saying here too, that they set up the other piece of it right before Jake Bobo got hurt, was you saw Coach Mike going to Cooper Kupp and taking Kupp out of practice, out of the joint practice, and trying to avoid injury. And then that's when Bobo ends up going down.
Yeah, and as much as you plan, as much as you look at an older player in Kupp and be like, yeah, I'm going to hold him out because he's probably a little more injury prone, and Bobo's been super durable, like we'll give him the reps. Plus we're looking for him to let the dog off the leash here a little bit. With all of the right thinking and planning and everything that went into that small decision, the football gods will just come up and snatch an ACL now and then. And it's just such a bummer that happened to Bobo for sure. The injuries were the biggest part of the episode for sure. But I kind of want to get back to the finding the edge part, because that's the thing that I found the most interesting throughout the episode. I think one of the people that stood out more as a leader, like I knew he was a leader on the team, but like maybe probably the leader I'd relate to the most on that team was Julian Love. Like just all of the little conversations that he was having at the right moments, like walking off the field with Leo and being like, nope, this ain't it. We got to find another gear. And, just kind of consistently being there.
He was right there next to Bud too, having that conversation right after his broken ankle. Yeah,
for sure. And Julian Love really popped off the screen to me this episode, and just what he means to this football team beyond the X's and O's and play on the field.
Yeah, I love that. He's, no pun intended, he's my favorite current Seahawk, has been for a couple of years. And this adds, what you're saying kind of just adds to how I feel about that dude on and off the field. I've shared before, and people know I'm on the East Coast. I grew up in Long Island, went to school at UConn. So, and the East Coast adores Notre Dame. It is absolutely adore Notre Dame. And I'm from New York, and that's like more of that. So I've been watching Julian Love literally since Notre Dame, over to the Giants, over to the Seahawks. And it's just been this consistent build of how much I like this dude as a person, and how much respect I have for him as a player. And so it's really cool for you to say what you're saying there, that you picked up on it there. I didn't even kind of see it today, Adam. I was like, oh, that's a cool moment. But that it really clicked for you was actually, I don't know. It's not like justifying my feelings about the dude, but but that's kind of neat for me to hear that you picked that one up, because it was just, I don't know, it flew beyond me. So I'm kind of intrigued by it.
Well, I'm here to affirm everything that you think, Clinton, and make you feel good about the world. No
Cool.
doubt. Like, yeah,
I need that.
Yeah, boy. I'll be your Flavor Flav today.
There we go.
We got Brent Uendo in chat saying, hopefully Bud's ankle doesn't involve any ligaments, muscles. If it's just the bone, a couple plates and a few screws could mean a late season return. That we can only hope for the best. And with Bud Clark on the point of chasing edges, though, the other part of this was the travel part of the edges. And we got the montage of the nutritionist talking about taking the players through the different stages of hydration and snacking. And I wish I had a snack coach, Clinton.
I wrote down, I started. I wrote, guys, I got a fuel for my travel. So I need to understand a fuel for my typically I'm just like housing some beef jerky or whatever peanuts they're handing out on Southwest and chugging tiny waters. That's usually how I make my way in the recliners in the sky, Adam. Don't know about you, but now I need a whole new game when I get out to Seattle in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could all use a little professional eating coaching. I know this guy could right here with that belly, but it's funny. One of the things I've enjoyed about watching this series is because Brittany's not a football person, right? But they do such a good job with storytelling and stuff in Hard Knocks that she'll be kind of walking by and things will pop off the screen. And the nutritionist part with the food and everything, she's like, that right there. She was Leo DiCaprio in the recliner. She's like, I want that. And our first question was, well, do they have to pay? They have to pay for all that. It's like, oh no, they take care of all that.
No, they don't play for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I was gonna say, unless you're an Arizona Cardinal. And she's like, no way. I was like, yeah, no, that's how cheap they are down there.
Ryan saying the snack coach is how I got my start, and William mentioning too, Bud Clark put on IR. So yeah, even if he is healthy by the end of the year, we won't see him this year. But unfortunate. And got to keep hydrated. We should be hydrating for this stream, just like the Charlie the Unicorn is saying to us. So we got to remember. That doesn't seem like the right kind of hydration for this, Clinton. But
it's pure vodka, guys. It's straight vodka, so don't worry.
It's excellent joint lubricant. Yeah.
We heard from Sam Darnold on the importance of joint practice, him talking about how it's as close as you get to an actual game. I thought that you hear guys say that in the media, and it does feel like something that they say, but this was kind of an off-camera thing, him talking to, was he talking to Schneider or was he talking to one of the coaches? I don't remember. We did see some John Schneider earlier trying to get a famous movie quote out from one of the other coaches. And I don't know if you picked it up early on when I mentioned you were in Famous, Clinton.
Oh, is that also from Three Amigos?
Yeah. Famous is when you're more than famous.
There we go, Beau. Good job. That one, again, stuff's flying by me today, boys. I don't know what to tell you. And I do like me some Three Amigos. I knew the one that John was going for, but I missed the Infamous. That's a good job by you.
All right. We got DU and PDX never wanted a cowboy hat until tonight. We got a cowboy hat montage, Adam.
You peeked, Adam. Adam's peaked.
Yeah, we need to have some hat talk here, boys. So there's a couple Sam Darnold moments in the episode here, and one is when Sam put on the black hat before they bent the brim. Yeah, and it still had the flat brim. Yeah, I was like, I expected him to like look right at the camera and be like, "You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me." He looked like Wyatt Earp. Yes, he looked like Wyatt Earp. Like I was afraid. I thought Val Kilmer might pop out at some point. I thought that was pretty cool. The other hat moment that look, Drew and I, like everybody, kind of tune out for a second. I just need to have a conversation with Drew Lock. Drew, baseball hat. Then double cowboy hat. Look, bud, I love you. And this is why we're having this conversation. Fuck no, never again, dude. That was an awful look. You can't do that. What is going on? No double hats. No half a hat. You can't have a half a hat as a hobo hat, and you can't have a double hat either. That looked ridiculous. Come on, Drew.
First of all, I'm your Huckleberry. Or Drew's not your Huckleberry, I suppose. But I thought the same thing when Sam. When they peered it down, like this dude looks like he's straight out of Wyatt Earp from Tombstone, et cetera, et cetera. And then they showed Drew, who like right next to him with that off-white hat, and I was like, he looks like a goofy lifeguard doesn't know how to wear a hat. Like he looked completely out of place. Like Sam looked good when it was not bent, and then Drew, Drew looked better when they shaped it a bit. But boy, oh boy, with the flat brim. he just looked like a goofy goober, man. It was kind of funny, but I think in reality, Drew Lock kind of is a bit of a goofy goober. So maybe if the hat fits.
Yeah, well, Drew Lock looked like somebody from the Instagram account of Hipsters of Bozeman wearing his cowboy hat. Like he belongs in Bros Angeles there, and with all the other fake cowboys.
I just thought that Drew was being efficient. He was walking from the locker room like you're gonna carry your hats. You're not gonna put it in your bag like
Sam carried his hat.
I would absolutely do a Drew for the record to get to the airport. I would get on the bus. I'd absolutely do that because in my head, I'm like, this is the best way. I'm not going to ruin my new hat. If I know if it's up here, I got it. It's not getting left behind, and it's not in a bag getting crumbled. So it's not getting ruined. So I feel I'm okay with his efficiency.
It is an awareness issue though, because like Drew should know that there's HBO cameras around. That's going to get picked up on film.
I don't think Drew makes $5-6 million a year playing football, and he's happy-go-lucky. And so I think
but he should have known that Adam would come for him for doing it.
True.
Yeah, you can't go double hat, man. You can't. It's not a good look or anything like that. Nope.
Funny.
All right, one of the other parts of the show that we got to see, the rookie talent show, Adam.
Yeah. All right. Well, first I had one more hat question for you guys. Over under how many more times any of those dudes, Milroe, Darnold, or Locke, wear their cowboy hat again?
Once.
One more
over
time?
or under one?
I'm gonna go under one. Because I've been to let's see.
Milroe's wearing that hat again.
Milroe looked good. I've been to Austin with my wife. She bought a hat because she had to buy a hat, and she's never worn that hat again. So I'm gonna go under one.
Yeah, I'd say I'd go under one as well, I think.
I'll take the over because I know Milroe's going to wear his.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Sorry to derail us back to hat talk.
All right, from hat
Talent
talk
show
to rookie talent show talk. I'm not going to start with Adam now because he derailed us once. Let's go to you, Clinton. Rookie talent show.
So it's fine. This was I'm cool with it. It's all good. They go out there, they have fun. They're in Nashville, so why not go have fun? I do appreciate Derick Hall when a guy apparently was eating food. I can imagine maybe they're hot wings, so maybe that was it. But Derick Hall saying, eating food ain't no effing talent. I like that part. That part of it made me absolutely laugh. I like them getting the papers thrown at them. I wish they were Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm glad they had fun. But
no appreciation for the Beau Stevens pipes?
Oh, Beau Stevens let off good. Okay, yeah. Beau Stevens was good. Those deep baritone pipes, that was fine. But I like the heckling and Derick Hall calling somebody out for eating. That's not a talent, and I agree. Unless you're Joey Chestnut,
right? And you make a lot of money shoving those things down.
I was just glad that they did something other than singing. There was way too much singing.
Too much singing, and you know how I feel about like musicals and stuff. Like I don't need crap and sing-song voice. Just say what you mean. But at the end of the day, man, I think the gold medalist was Uso. I think he was the gold medalist. Like that was a nice rendition. But I do think Beau was a close second. I think that was pretty good. I do appreciate that Jadarian Price spared us all from another freaking remake of freaking Wagon Wheel. Had enough of that to last me 17 lifetimes, Hootie. All right, like no more of that. So I liked how we changed it up instead of continuing to braid us with that.
Yeah, Johnny pointing out the rookie analyst, which the Sir Mix-a-Lot, that did not work.
Oh, well,
that dude finished last.
Sir Mix-a-Lot is a Seattle icon, so there is a tie back to the region.
There is a tie back, but you should do it justice if you're going to do it.
At least they got the.
I think there's an extra degree of criticism we give him because it has Seattle ties.
Look, when he said me so horny and he hit that high note, he had me one. Crap, I had something to say. Somebody take it away. Adam, what were you talking about?
All I'm saying is that like there's some of us that are just too damn pale to rap and have it sound good. Like and that poor guy is just like me. No way that we're gonna make Baby Got Back sound good. Trying to rap it in front of a bunch of other people, man. Like that's tough. It's
a tough assignment. I do want to say my buddy, this guy Jay, who I play music with at the Yukon show once a year. He lives in Nashville. He's a musician for life. That's what he does. And they banned. So I was like, oh, we want to play Wagon Wheel at one of our reunions. He's like, dude. He's like, no. He's like, we can't. He's like, no. He's like, literally, you can't request that song in Nashville. It's like it's banned down there. It's like asking for Stairway to Heaven. So it's just kind of funny that they're in Nashville and he teased Wagon Wheel for a bit before going into whichever song that was. So
has Uso inspired you to add some Bob Marley tunes to your set list, Clinton?
We did some Fugees last year with the Bob Marley, tune. So maybe we'll resurrect that. That was cool. That was very good.
Yeah, Uso definitely won the talent show, and that was very obvious. But
Derick Hall won. He was fun.
Derick Hall won with his criticism.
In my opinion, it was funny.
Yeah. Well, the other part of the show we got to watch was more of Montorie Foster's family cheering him on. We got to see some Foster. Even his dad was cheering on the blocks at him, which I loved.
Yeah, I do enjoy Mr. Foster's is senior, He's guess funny. It would be. Yep. His energy, and he does seem to gravitate towards the camera. The camera gravitates towards him either way. But I mean, I know it's your son, and that's awesome. But he touched the guy. That wasn't a crushing block or anything. Because the play was going away from him, so the guy disengages and goes the other direction. Yeah, it was a block.
It's a block. There's 3 or 4 other key blocks in that run that are a bit more highlightable. Let's put it that way.
Every block is important.
Look, I celebrate the entire collection here, Brandon. I'm with you. But that was Kevin Winston, who I was so hot to trot on last year as the Penn State safety. I was like, I love this dude, and he crashes down. He's not even nowhere near the hole, and he kind of lets Monty engage him. I was like, oof, bad look for good job, Monty. You did what you had to do. I call him Monty, but boy, oh boy, did Winston look like he didn't look good on that play. Another, number 1 from the Titans getting run over on Salah's defense. So I'll keep celebrating that, Brandon.
Yeah, well, it was just a cool moment. It resulted in the players running on the field, which it gave me my quote that I appreciated the most from Coach Mike, saying, call a penalty, telling the officials don't get downgraded because we're idiots.
I did like that. And then we get the penalty the next time, and Jason Myers might have the yips, which we talked about in the postgame show. Let's hope he does not. Maybe we'll get that arc, guys, in episode 5, the Jason Myers yips episode, so he can work them the F out before there's real games.
You need to bring Kevin Costner.
Yeah, exactly.
We need Cheech. Yeah, man, exactly. He'll be his caddy once again. But I found it interesting that we're not talking on Hard Knocks at all about the shanks that Myers has there. But that
got cut along with the Mason Richmond injury.
I agree. I think it hit the cutting room floor for sure. There was one other part about Montorie Foster Jr. that I thought was really good, and not just, hey, he got open a couple times, and the diving catch he almost had, which was really, really close, and the catch he did make, all good, but it was in the wide receiver room where he's getting glowed up, and Adam, you and I talked about it. Was it Adam? I always forget who was.
Hard telling, not knowing.
Yeah, I don't know. Who did the post game the other day? That was Adam, because Brandon,
that was me.
Brandon,
I wasn't here.
Okay, cool.
Well, I was part of the show. I was on the airplane.
Right. You were very active from 35,000 feet. You were very active. But we talked about in the post game show, it's like, hey, look, Foster just continues to get open, and that's going to show out. And that's the NFL level. If you can just consistently get open, you're probably going to find a home. So it's going to be very interesting now if Bobo goes down. We talked about White not having a great game, but probably very solidified. It's really, guys, how many wide receivers are we keeping? Are we keeping on the 53? We're going to start with 5. We're going to start with 6. If it's 6, I think Foster is pretty locked in that's his. But roster wise, I have no idea if they're going to go 5 or 6. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward 5, but we'll see. We've got Shane Turner Acoustic with 299 Australian saying, hey, legends, word for the last game, improvement. We heard improvement from Coach Mike at the end. And I'll tell you the reason why I think it's 5. I think we keep 5 because didn't we keep multiple tight ends? So if we go 4 tight ends, I don't think that they go 6 receivers, and if they do that, then Foster's going to be on the bubble because I think it's going to be between him and White. And yes, White didn't have the greatest preseason game against the Titans, but I have a hard time thinking that would one bad game would just erase all of his equity that he's built up over the years with the team,
especially as a special teamer, right?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of folks love the guess who ends up on the 53 or the original 53 game. Like, sure, it's a good time, I suppose.
We'll cover it after it happens.
Yeah, when they keep 5, we'll talk about it. When they keep 6, we'll talk about it. Whoever they don't keep will probably end up on Ready Squad, and then all that will change in a week and a half, and then we go from there. So definitely not putting a lot of thought into that for myself, anyhow. But you talked about improvement from Shane, right? Like that was the theme of the episode to him in some ways. One of the ways that they're looking to improve, and this was the last thing in my notes here that kind of stood out to me, was just how focused they are about the operation being clean, getting in and out of the huddle, and speeding up that tempo to put more pressure on the opposing teams. And the number one thing that stood out to me was how much Sam was just like, yep, that's on me, I'll get it handled. And then they cut to him a couple times, like getting on guys, being like, hey, we're doing this, and like taking the message from the coaches and then applying it to the field. And that shows the type of leadership that you need to have to be QB1.
It wasn't just that too. So you had, you mentioned Julian Love earlier on. You mentioned Sam there, and one of the other ones too, Leonard Williams, I think is one that called out, because as Coach Mike was yelling at the team, Leo was by his side going, "What do you need me to do? What do you want me to do here?"
Yeah, as you called it earlier, the leadership council showed out, right? So, which is exactly the impact that you want to have when you're bringing them together, and then disseminating it through kind of your apostles, right? So it was good. It was good to see. Now, is that cut up because HBO knows how to tell a good story, or is that the natural story that comes out because that's what's happening? And that's what was really mattered that week. Don't know. The magic of Hollywood is there for sure, but it did. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. It did.
He had too much beef at lunch.
No, my flight plan was no good with my refuel, boys. But it did show out. I do want to go back to, I understand that we don't want to talk and jockey for 5th and 6th wide receiver live now, but I'll ask a different question. Do either of you guys think that the Hard Knocks glow up means something, meaning when they're in the room deciding on, do we keep 5 or 6 guys? Is there something in the back of their head going, Foster's going to be more difficult to sneak because he's on this show? Do you think that's remotely in their heads, or am I making that up completely?
I think that plays into it. Not at all.
Not at all. You don't think one iota?
Not with nothing with the Hard Knocks part. It would be more of things that they're seeing and saying on the show that I think plays into it. But I don't think when it comes to cut down day, Schneider's going to go, oh man, look how they played up Montorie Foster. Look how they played up Uso Seumalo on the Hard Knocks. Like, we can't cut these guys because the fan backlash is just going to be too great.
No, not the fan backlash. Not the fan backlash. The other 31 teams being a little bit more observant of that player and the chance of sneaking him on lessening a little bit. That's what I'm trying to get. I don't
think there's any team that's watching Hard Knocks and goes, man, look at how they performed on television, that we should bring that guy on because of all the coverage that he got on Hard Knocks.
It's not coverage, it's praise. Right? Uso's
right.
not really
they covered the praise. How about that? Look, but I, as much as I said that I'd be your hype man earlier in the show here, absolutely not. Like, I can guarantee you that Mike and John give less than half a shit about the Hard Knocks thing. Like, whatever. I mean, they want things to look good, but like, they don't really care about the outcome. And secondly, to Brandon's point, I can't see the Houston Texans GM sitting down for Hard Knocks and being like, I'm going to find me a player watching Hard Knocks and like going to fill out the back half of my wide receiver roster. Like, there's no, absolutely.
Okay. I think you guys are both maybe a little wrong, potentially.
They don't watch this stuff.
Oh, come on. They watch everything.
Well, I'm sure that they have people that watch it, that they're scouting for things. And I
get they're watching all the tape anyway. Like, Monty's tape is out there, right? I'm just saying it's a little extra glow up that might be on someone's radar. That's all. I think
it's the tape that would be the most important part.
And his tape is good also, guys. He keeps getting open.
Yeah. It's overall good. There are some legitimate downs though. Like, one of the things that we, didn't really talk much about is like, he has a false start as a wide receiver in that game, as a guy who's trying to chase consistency and become a better player so that he can stick on a 53. having a false start as a wide receiver is just like, what the hell are we doing? Watch ball move, you go. This is not complicated.
Yeah.
Brent saying teams definitely have employees scouting out potential waivers for needs. Yes, that's absolutely true. They have people watching all the film from all the games. I just don't know if that little bit extra of what they would get from coaches giving good recommendations that make the cut on Hard Knocks, that would play into it any bit extra. But
I will say this, the extra camera time for Montorie doesn't hurt in the sense that maybe just being like unbelievably handsome, like comes across, and maybe that ups his cred with another team. Maybe that's what it is, Clinton.
I dig it.
All right. Well, anything else that you guys want to cover before we get on out of here? I know DeWin PDX was saying any news on Horton injury. I think the last thing we heard was that he would be out for a quote period of time, which until they have injury news as part of the preseason, like they have to disclose it, we aren't going to know until it comes time to where they have to make a decision. And that would probably, the next bit of information we would get is on the 53-man roster cuts. And if he makes it, then that's good news. Or, I mean, we might get better information before then, and that he would be actually playing against the Chiefs.
Yeah. My understanding, or what I had heard, and I have no idea if this is true, so I just don't know, but I had heard through conversations like in Discord or with somebody that he had gotten into a fight like internally with a Seahawk. I forget who I was
that was a
talking
Greg Bell report.
Okay. So
yeah, we were talking with Bryce before we went on with
there
him
you go, man. I can't remember a damn thing. I'm also got a little cold, but I can't remember nothing. So thank you for being my wingman, Adam.
Yeah. No worries. Hey, look, this is what I know about the Horton thing and everything is that he's going to be out for some period of time dealing with this thing.
I remember when we got Macdonald as a head coach, and they're like, we're going to get so much more clarity than we did with Pete Carroll. And I remember pushing back on that to whoever was saying, I was like, no, we're not. Like, this guy's cut from the Harbaugh cloth. Like, he might seem to say things differently than Pete, but just as Pete would say, he's got a knee. Now he's got a thing. It's no different. Yeah. They're going to protect it as much as they can.
Mike Macdonald is the new school version when it comes to injuries of Bill Belichick. Like, he might as well just go up on stage and be like,
yeah,
Tory Horton's not going to be here. Because
right.
Thing.
Yeah. He's going to start cutting the sleeves. That'll be that.
Yeah.
Have you noticed though that he's like the tailored version of Belichick? Like, he has short sleeve hoodies. They don't make those, right? Like, you have to have those tailored.
Yeah. I mean, look, Mike's fashion sense is infamous since his first step onto campus there. Like, do you remember like the hoodie with the sports coat? Like,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, man. Mike's been in all sorts of fashion rules.
Yeah, it's a sweater, right? So, hey, look, when you got guns like he does, his biceps, you get everything tailored. That's like that's it. Yeah, he's got some guns. So you get everything tailored around your best asset, and Macdonald knows that's 2 tickets to the gun show, Brandon.
There you go. All right, boys. Well, appreciate everybody who joined us live. Appreciate Ryan 911 coming in with a live executive producer donation, as well as let's see, we had Shane Turner Acoustic who came in. Oh, we had a question from Michael K. Smith. Let's land it here, guys, because this is a question I think we get every year. We usually address it, and I think in our season expectation show sometimes. But Michael coming in and saying, how did you guys become Hawk fans? Do you have Seattle origins? Also, really enjoy your pod. You guys do a great job. Yeah, origin story time at the start of the season. I'll go first. I became a Seahawks fan. It was the first game that I saw live was a Seahawks game. And let's see, my dad took me in 1988, I believe. So I was living out near Seattle at the time. We had, there was nobody behind us. I think it was field goal, like right behind the field goal posts in the Kingdom, all the way up in the back at the top. And I want to say that I saw Kelly Stauffer throw a touchdown pass to Brian Blades in that.
You were the one? Wow. Nice.
Yeah. So, and then, Steve Largent was, I had the Steve Largent poster growing up in Washington. I moved to Washington about 3rd grade. So yeah, that's how they became my NFL team.
Cool. I'll jump in. So I grew up in New York. I was born in Queens and grew up on Long Island, and I live in Connecticut. I have no association to the Pacific Northwest other than it's gorgeous beyond the Seahawks. So when I was 5 or 6 years old, I started loving their helmet, like their logo, their helmet, and like my mom had to send away to Seattle to like write somebody that she knew through a friend to get like a catalog sent back to us to then order some Seahawks stuff. And she did. I got Seahawks stuff for Christmas, maybe at like 6, and I had like a John L. Williams like hole punch looking jersey and the little NFL huddle and a Blue Angel Largent poster and a Kurt Warner poster. Like that was it. I got like inundated with Seahawks stuff because I said I liked them, and that's how it happened. And it's went through all the crap being really bad for a long time, and I'm glad I did because we're freaking awesome, Adam.
Yeah, and because we're freaking awesome and I became a Seahawks fan, I probably need to send the human being who's the most responsible for my Seahawks fandom a gift in the mail. Do you guys remember Rob Johnson, the quarterback for the Bills? You do. Probably nobody else does it. There's a reason. The guy was dog water.
He wasn't good. Yeah.
Okay. Reason I became a Seahawks fan is because growing up here in Montana, not a regional team. Right. And especially back in the 80s and 90s, like you didn't just get all the games, and we never got Seattle games. I mean, it was tough to find all that, but we did get a crap ton of Buffalo Bill games, and I rooted hard for the Buffalo Bills. I went through 4 years of heartache with all the lost Super Bowls. And then we get to 1998. Doug Flutie is the starter. I love me some Doug Flutie. If you don't love Doug Flutie, then I don't like you. Like
it's a t-shirt.
That's right. I loved Doug Flutie, his story. When he came into the Bills, like he took a team that had been struggling post Kelly era and like kind of gave him some juice and gets him to the playoffs. Well, the owner in his infinite wisdom decided that they were going to start the hot shot kid that they had traded for from Jacksonville, who sucks balls, and Rob Johnson in the playoff game, and bench the Hall of Fame worthy Doug Flutie. Like he should be in the Football Hall of Fame for everything he did in the CFL as well, for Rob Johnson. And the Bills promptly lose that game via the Music City Miracle.
Oh yeah.
And that ended my Buffalo Bills fandom right then and there. And I looked at the map and I said, Seattle's the closest city. I might actually get to see some games. I became a Seattle Seahawks fan that day.
Well, and plus after 98, that would have been when the Seahawks signed Holmgren.
That's right.
So.
Yep, that's right when I came in.
Wow. Yeah. So since Adam's acquisition, we've been a pretty damn good franchise, guys.
Yeah. So you're welcome. I'll help them find their edge here. Yeah. For this year.
Handelna in the YouTube chat saying, just start the season already, done with practice games. Jeremy Green saying we're on to Kansas City. Yes, we're on to Kansas City, boys. We got to get this over with. And we've got one more Hard Knocks episode to look forward to. Let's say we go get the win. That way we close Hard Knocks with the win, and then that just elevates our fandom into the season and on our way to the Super Bowl.
I love it, Brandon, because when you play a game, is it better to win or to lose?
It's always better to win than lose.
That's right. And with that, I think there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.